Sometimes the silence between us feels louder than words ever could, and it's almost as if you're fading from my thoughts entirely. In the quiet moments, I wonder if letting you go is the only way to truly set myself free. If I ghost you into oblivion, will the weight of our past finally lift? Or will I always be haunted by what we were? Fading into the distance feels like the only escape from the noise of us. Every thought of you slipping away is a bittersweet relief, yet my heart still clings to the fragments of what we shared. Sometimes disappearing feels like the only way to find peace amidst the chaos of feelings. Ghosting you into oblivion could be my answer, but can I really erase the past from my soul? It's as though the idea of leaving without a trace is more appealing than dragging the weight of a love that no longer fits. Can letting you slip from my life bring the closure I need, or will it just leave an unfillable void? I wonder if in letting you go, I'll finally start to breathe again, unburdened by the past. Fading into the background might be my escape, but even in that silence, I wonder if you'll ever truly fade from my mind. If I were to ghost you into oblivion, would it give me the peace I crave, or would the echoes of what we had haunt me forever? When the pain of remembering becomes too much, the only option seems to be vanishing into thin air. What if the best way to heal is to let go completely and allow the echoes of our connection to dissolve into the nothingness? In my quiet moments, the thought of you fading away into nothingness feels like the ultimate form of release. I fantasize about the day when all of this becomes nothing but a distant memory, lost to time and space. The thought of disappearing is both frightening and liberating, a paradox of emotions I can't seem to escape. I crave the freedom of silence, the peace that comes with disappearing from your world. Maybe the most profound act of love is to let go completely and allow ourselves to fade into nothingness. If we were to become strangers, would I be able to find peace in that unfamiliarity? Sometimes the most freeing act is not fighting for what once was, but simply walking away without a trace. To disappear entirely is to give myself the space to grow, to evolve beyond what we were. The thought of you fading away makes me wonder if I could ever truly erase the emotional scars we left on each other. In my heart, I know that ghosting you may be the only way to stop the endless cycle of pain and confusion. You slipping away feels like the only way to reclaim my sense of self without the shadow of you lingering behind. What if the space between us, when filled with silence, becomes the place where I can finally heal? I'm not sure if disappearing would be an escape or a surrender, but I can't stop imagining it. Maybe the answer lies not in holding on, but in letting go so completely that even memories begin to fade. The idea of fading from your life feels like an act of self-preservation, but does it truly preserve my soul? Perhaps the best way to end this chapter is to vanish, leaving nothing behind but the lessons we've learned. In a world filled with noise, the thought of disappearing into nothingness brings the peace I've been longing for. Maybe disappearing is my way of saying goodbye without having to speak a single word. Every fantasy of ghosting you makes me wonder if I can ever escape the ghost of us. To disappear is to take back control, to reclaim what was once lost in the shadows of our past. Maybe the hardest part of moving on is accepting that some relationships are meant to vanish into oblivion. In the quietest spaces, I can hear the echoes of what we were, but I long for the silence that comes with letting go. The idea of vanishing feels like the final step in releasing what no longer serves me. What if disappearing was the only way to break free from the pull of your memory? When I think about fading away, I wonder if it's my way of finally finding peace after all this time. Perhaps letting you slip into oblivion is my way of setting both of us free from the cycle we've been trapped in. The idea of fading into the background feels like the only way to stop the constant tug of war between my heart and my mind. What would it feel like to finally disappear from your world, leaving behind nothing but the remnants of a forgotten love? I fantasize about disappearing because I crave the stillness that only comes with being completely free. Sometimes the thought of letting you go feels like a fresh start, one that's long overdue. If I ghost you into oblivion, will the pain stop, or will I always carry the ghost of what we once had? I wonder if disappearing would give me the space I need to rediscover myself without the constant reminder of our past. Maybe the hardest part of moving on is accepting that some relationships are meant to vanish into oblivion. In the quietest spaces, I can hear the echoes of what we were, but I long for the silence that comes with letting go. The idea of vanishing feels like the final step in releasing what no longer serves me. What if disappearing was the only way to break free from the pull of your memory? When I think about fading away, I wonder if it's my way of finally finding peace after all this time. Perhaps letting you slip into oblivion is my way of setting both of us free from the cycle we've been trapped in. The idea of fading into the background feels like the only way to stop the constant tug of war between my heart and my mind. What would it feel like to finally disappear from your world, leaving behind nothing but the remnants of a forgotten love? I fantasize about disappearing because I crave the stillness that only comes with being completely free. Sometimes the thought of letting you go feel like a fresh start, one that's long overdue. If I ghost you into oblivion, will the pain stop, or will I always carry the ghost of what we once had? I wonder if disappearing would give me the space I need to rediscover myself without the constant reminder of our past. Perhaps the best way to honor what we were is to let go completely, allowing time to erase what remains. Ghosting you into oblivion may seem like an escape, but is it a true escape or simply another form of avoidance? I wonder if disappearing into thin air would bring me peace, or if it would simply leave me wondering what might have been. The more I imagine vanishing from your life, the more I realize how much I crave the freedom of being untethered. Sometimes, the best thing we can do for ourselves is to allow the past to fade into nothingness and start anew. Every thought of disappearing makes me question if silence is the only way to find closure in this tangled mess of emotions. I often think that disappearing is the only way to stop the internal chaos, but the truth is, I'm not sure if I'll ever truly escape it. What if I disappear not because I want to hurt you, but because I need to find myself again in the silence? Maybe the most profound way to heal is to simply let go of the past and allow the present to unfold without the shadow of you. The thought of disappearing feels like the only way to stop the world from spinning in endless circles around you and me. Could vanishing from your life truly set us both free, or would it leave us both wandering in the emptiness of what we once shared? I imagine what it would be like to let everything fade away until all that's left is the quiet echo of a love that no longer exists. Sometimes the hardest part of moving forward is admitting that some people are meant to be ghosted, forgotten, and released. In the silence of my thoughts, I wonder if disappearing would bring the peace that I've been desperately seeking all this time. The thought of slipping away into nothingness feels like the ultimate form of freedom, one that I desperately crave. Maybe I'm not truly disappearing. Maybe I'm just creating the space I need to rediscover who I am without you. In the silence of letting go, I hope to find the peace that has been absent in our constant back and forth. Perhaps the most liberating thing I can do is fade away quietly, leaving the past behind without a single word. If I disappear, will the memories of us haunt me forever, or will they dissolve into the past, forgotten and distant? The act of disappearing isn't about rejection. It's about self-preservation in a world that has forgotten how to give. I imagine vanishing not as a form of escape, but as an act of reclaiming my own life and my own space. The thought of fading away into the unknown feels like the most honest form of self-care I can offer myself. Ghosting you into oblivion is not about erasing you, but about letting go of the past that still clings to my heart. The silence between us might be the loudest thing I've ever felt, and sometimes that's all I can hear. I wonder if disappearing from your life would finally allow me to find peace within my own soul. Maybe it's not about running away, it's about running toward something better, something more fulfilling. I dream of vanishing into oblivion, not because I want to hurt you, but because I need to heal in ways I can't do with you around. Fading away from your life might be the closure I've been searching for, even if I don't know how to say goodbye. When I imagine disappearing, I realize it's not just the space I need, it's the quiet that comes with being alone with myself. In my fantasy, I slip away into nothingness, and in that nothingness, I find my own peace, away from everything and everyone.